Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're about to have a lot of fun in a way that we haven't on the channel before, embarking on actually a multi-episode series on how to build you a driver from scratch through multiple iterations with full support from one of the manufacturers. Because I think this came up in conversation, guys, when we were talking about, do the smaller brands get a fair shake when it comes to sort of driver adoption, and do people consider them in the same way they do the TaylorMades and Callaway's and Ping's, Titleists of the world? So we're talking about Srixon drivers, the new ZX7 specifically.
Yeah.
And our limited testing, it's been great so far, hasn't it?
I really like this so far.
So we thought about going on this sort of, or creating a little mini series around, well, how good can it be? How good can we make it? And we kind of set that challenge down to the guys at Srixon, and they were fully on board. So I have to say a huge thanks to them. They said, "What do you need?"
I know, yeah.
The best words to our ears are,
"It's the best thing we can hear."
What do you need?
Absolutely.
So they've basically given us carte blanche to do whatever we want in this series. What heads we need, face angles. I mean, even to the point where we have. I mean, and this is beyond general consumption and what a consumer would really get. But for now. You can see some Sharpie measurements here on face speed.
So cool.
0.827 COR/250 CT.
Really cool.
So 257 being the maximum CT. So, you know, we've got those sorts of measurements. So if we're really going to push the boundaries of performance, we need to know those types of things. We have 5 different weights that we can put into this. One of the things we loved about the X7 is the fact that we have movable adjustability toe and heel.
Love that. And it was very effective. We only used the 4 and the 8.
Yeah.
And the 8 worked great in the toe, but you've got up to 12 now. You've got what, down to 4?
Down to 4, so we can you know, and we can mix and match if we want to make it more neutral. We can do that. If we want to just create more head weight, but in a more balanced way.
So it's a bit of an underdog story. I think most people will. If you're wondering, is this video, you know, a little biased for Srixon? Of course, we're going to do whatever's necessary to make this driver the very best that it can. We want to see, can this. And Srixon represents a lot of brands, in my opinion. Like, they represent a lot of brands that are really producing great stuff, but people just don't consider them because of, I guess, the reputation or whatever the reason is. But can we get it ultimately close to that TSI that you fit for me that's been so good?
Absolutely. And this, you know, mind the pun, is the tour experience.
It is.
If you were a Srixon tour player, this is exactly the experience you'd be going through different heads, lie angles, face angles, all that different stuff, right? Obviously the shaft considerations. So we're going to take this from its most basic form. Stock, consumer product, hazardous smoke, 6.5, X-Flex, 60 gram, and we're going to test that and see how it shakes up. Today we'll do the first part of the fitting. We'll maybe have a look at some shafts and see what's going to work quite
maybe,
well.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And then we'll start to really dial it in. Beauty.
For the first tee.
No fitting required.
All right, well, this was fun. It's a 3-part series, 3 swings.
And tune in next week. Okay, but made its way a little more toe side there.
Definitely.
You can see a little deflection in that head.
That's a bad swing.
I mean, this is good. We're hearing some
fair enough.
variability in the strike right now.
That's what that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely just snuck high in the head. So you got the low ball speed, high launch, low spinner. Back in the middle.
That's better strike.
Pounded.
Much better strike.
3 bills. Okay guys, initial data 6 from 6, perfect.
Yeah,
Little,
it would have been
set.
6 fairways too. That's the thing that's most important to me.
Yep. 168 ball speed, 12.5, launch 2270. Not going to be an easy job really doing too much more. So, and this is the external stuff, but
Yes.
we don't look at things externally. We
Right.
look at them internally. And once we dive into the belly of the beast here, we actually see that it's not achieving everything that it can, and it does have more. 121 club head speed, 139 efficiency. Anyone who knows the channel, knows foresight sort of metrics, will know that that's low.
Yeah.
15 degrees of delivered loft, excellent. Tells me the CG is in a position for Matty that allows him to deliver less loft, but still get those launch and spin windows perfect. That's the key for you.
That's probably what I like about it.
That's
isn't it?
why TSI3 works.
Yeah.
Right? So this is very comparable to that for you.
Gotcha.
You can push the path out to the left, but the face stays out to the left. You hit up on it. It's
great.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Very friendly. Very point and shoot.
Anything for you when you were hitting those ones?
I just feel like the timing of the shaft isn't quite there for me. I think a lot of stuff was great. I think the face angle is in a great spot. The strikes, despite not actually moving all that much, to be honest, the strikes felt not good. So I felt like I had mishit a few of them, but the reality is the results were quite great. So I think maybe the head is moving around a little bit with this particular shaft pairing in there. This shaft has never been one that's my favorite. I can usually hit some good drives with it, but my feedback would be I loved the way the ball was coming off. I just felt the timing of the swing a little off. Okay.
All right, let's build some stuff. Okay, in true fitting fashion, we're just going to let you hit it.
Yeah, not looking. I can see the shaft obviously, but I'm not looking at the sole.
Okay.
Feels good. Feels a little bit kind of low overall, but the flight is nice. It's very
definitely different. Flat push down the left. That's an interesting
one, eh? Yeah. And the
Low
ball
spin
flight
push.
feels extremely flat, that's for sure.
All right, let's let me make a couple little adjustments. That's nice.
Yeah, that one's good.
Feel like the speed's creeping up a little bit now.
Yes. Good too.
It's pretty trusty, this guy.
It really is.
Sounded like one of your better ones.
That was definitely. I just thought about trying to get it out of the toe just to shade it. Really neutralized the flight of that. Yeah, those last two feel super good. Okay, that is interesting. That's the most ball speed I've had so far.
And what was that?
174. It didn't, to be honest, feel like I hammered it either. Okay. This is interesting, dude. This is really
Remember
interesting.
when we hit the new Diamana TB and it had that high launch kind of characteristic to it?
Yeah, that's
kind of
right.
like what I feel like I'm seeing here. So
This is very different. We changed the driver completely. Ooh, I like that. I could feel the strike higher that time.
it's your best carry by quite a bit.
I think that's to be honest, I think it's the best drive I've hit in the session. Yeah. It felt proper, right? Proper speed coming out of that.
Oh,
Yeah. That's the one you were talking about.
that's
I hit it a bit higher in the face and it launched higher and spun way left.
beautiful.
It's a really good driver, this thing.
is it hard. Oh,
That's tasty.
pretty good.
Ooh, that is nice. Okay, Mark 3.5 or whatever it is.
The modified Mark III.
I'm impressed with Mark 3.5. She's quick.
So initially, the idea was to try and increase ball speed, which was just to turn the loft down.
Right.
So open the face, turn the loft down. But by opening the face, I kind of wanted to counter the open face with a little more rotation. So I kind of flipped the weights around. So we had originally 8 in the toe,
Yep.
4 in the heel. So I flipped that, went 6 in the toe, 8 in the heel.
Oh, okay.
Tried to change the balance of
That's
that a
pretty
little
interesting.
bit. So we got a little bit more, and it turned over a little bit, and certainly the flight came down, but it was good.
It was hot. It
turning
just
over
wasn't.
less.
Yeah, it just wasn't ready, right?
Yeah. Mark number 2
Mm-hmm.
was to turn the loft back up to 9, from 8.5 to 9. And then I went actually 10 grams in the toe and 4 in the heel.
Oh, okay, so that's actually, in fact, more fade bias than we've
More
tested
fade bias, yeah.
previously.
So
So a 10 and a 4.
moved that into there.
Mark II started to feel really good, I
Yeah.
would say. I think that was very close to being a playable driver for sure,
And Mark II made it basically just a left side driver.
which I also really liked.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in Mark II, you were gaining speed, you gained the launch through the loft, and you actually you reduced spin ever so slightly as well. So there was quite a big jump in Mark II.
It was. Yeah, Mark II was really nice.
Yep. So Mark III, really the biggest change was going to Nemesis,
Right. Counterbalance.
counterbalanced. Because we went counterbalanced, it added 2 more grams of weight.
Okay.
1 swing weight point, added that into the heel. Try and neutralize it ever so slightly. But we started turning it over a little bit, even though we saw quite a nice jump in terms of ball speed.
It was just a bit sensitive to it. Yeah, it was only, Mark III was just a bit sensitive to a toe strike.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing that I think it lacked.
And then in the end, the final sort of addition was to go with 2 more grams of weight in that toe section. So just take from 3 to 4. The biggest difference there was just a little toe weight.
Very
That was
interesting.
all.
Yeah. I mean, technically speaking, the launch conditions, I guess, on Mark III were pretty much ideal.
Ideal.
But the
These were
dispersion
ideal.
was not, let's be fair.
Yeah.
It felt very stable with that extra weight.
Yeah.
I think, as I said before, it is pretty forgiving. It's definitely not the most forgiving driver. So I think a little bit of extra weight just to help with my strike variance was actually quite helpful.
And really, that's what the kicker was in the end, was the inward movement of the strike.
Definitely.
So
It's really funny to me how like weight movement can end up changing a strike pattern and your swing path and all this stuff. Is really not much weight being talked about. We're talking about 2 gram changes between these Mark III and Mark IV, but night and day.
Okay, episode 1 in the books. We're going to take it away now. We're going to do a little bit of work, make a few phone calls to friends. I mean, there's a few more things to come here. Not final specs, but next edition specs. I'm thinking grips. I'm thinking all those sorts of things.
Love to try the grip next and talk
Absolutely.
about that.
And we might even talk grip weight and influence and different things in terms of that. And there's some good stuff to come out of this. This is what goes on in the PGA Tour on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
We try and bring all these sort of processes and different functions into fittings on a daily basis for you guys. But it's nice when we have our option on heads and shafts and that sort of thing.
And I'm really glad we're giving Srixon, I think, just the attention the driver deserves, and it's doing great.
Yeah, it really is performing well. Okay, stay tuned. Episode 2 coming next week. We'll see you again soon.